Hey friends, welcome to your Daily Detroit. It is Friday, January 14th, 2022. Now, keeping with tradition, we're going to have our fun Friday. But you might have noticed that Devin was on the show yesterday. So what are we to do? Turns out Detroit is a big home to leisure soda, specifically Casamara Club. And there are two new flavors to talk about. And I've heard your feedback. Non-alcoholic drinks are something you want us to dive into. So joining me on the line, Jason LaValla. We haven't talked on the show since before the pandemic. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm still here, so I think that counts for something.
Oh, absolutely. And you are a big part behind Casamara Club, which is a line of non-alcoholic leisure sodas. So for those who maybe weren't tuned in back then, what exactly is a leisure soda?
Sure. So the way that I think about it is a leisure soda is something that you can drink at the end of the day, or really whenever you need that sort of like something a little bit special, something that I used to often fill with alcohol, whether that's like a good glass of wine, a beer at the end of the day. Now sort of giving myself and hopefully other people the option to pick something non-alcoholic for when you want to feel special but don't want to drink alcohol.
Listeners have been giving me a lot of requests to talk more about non-alcoholic options. What do you think is kind of driving this whole thing? Because I'll tell you, 10 years ago was not like that whatsoever.
It's been really interesting to watch this whole thing grow. Back in 2017, when I really started to, like, the idea for this started to bubble up, it was like sober raves and techno parties where you could find like a non-drinking scene. But it was odd out there early selling this. People were like, well, why would I go out if I'm not drinking? And I think what we've seen over time is that and I don't want to get too heavy here, but I think people often are going out looking for connection because we don't have as much of that anymore in the world. The sort of like social institutions that we used to have just aren't as strong as they used to be. People are out doing their own thing, and bars, coffee shops, all of these places have become community hubs as much as they are, bars especially, a place to drink alcohol. And so if you're thinking about it from the perspective of, this is a place where I want people to feel comfortable, to feel safe, to feel like they're kind of, at home, really getting a sense of that like good hospitality, you got to cater to more than just people that are drinking alcohol. And I think that has driven a lot of this shift.
Well, for me personally, I think it's more about adding to the rotation. So
Yep.
I am somebody who still likes to have a cocktail after work. Absolutely. Listeners of this show know yesterday, literally hot toddy with Devin. However, as I've gotten along in my life, I have learned that mixing it up makes me feel better. It gives me more options. I don't need the booze to socialize. I enjoy booze. And even with the way I've drank, I generally only drink things that give me pleasure, not to just drink anymore.
Yep.
And if it's just drinking, I phased out of that over the last few years.
I think there's so much to that in the way that I was hoping that I could sort of make these drinks from the start of like, I just want this to be something that people can enjoy. I come at it from a pretty similar place as you of like, if I'm going to drink something, I want to really like it. And it doesn't matter if it's alcohol or not alcohol. It's just got to taste good. And it's got to be fun. It's got to be thoughtful. It's got to hit a lot of marks for me. And I just don't think people were doing that in the non-alcohol space until pretty recently.
For sure. And so let's step into the Casamara Club, if you will.
All right.
I have a couple of cans here. These are your newest additions. You have four kind of OG flavors, and then these are your two new ones. I know from the people I picked it up from that like this is brand new off of the canning press or whatever you call it. And so let's start with the red drink, which is Fora. What's kind of the thought behind this one?
All right. So Fora is this really cool, with red drink, we were thinking about a lot of reference points. We were thinking about New Orleans. So my head of production, Erica, it's a thing that they used to have at family cookouts when she was growing up. There's the sort of red drinks of our childhood, your Hawaiian punches and your Minute Maids. And this is this like really strange and fun and complex and subtle strawberry drink. And so it's some strawberry, it's rhubarb, hibiscus, these really nice sort of light tart flavors, a little fruity, a little juicy. I think this one might be maybe one of our most sort of subtle, low key, just really nice, afternoon drinks.
Red drink for me was in the little hug, the barrel. Because you got purple drink, red drink, you got all the drinks of colors, not flavors.
Yes. Yep. I think there's something to that. And there are a lot of ingredients in here that kind of fit that mold of, it's just gotta be red.
All right, let's give it a spin.
All right. It sounds like we got two satisfying cracks opening those cans. I like that.
Okay. So what I like about this is that there's different layers to this for sure.
Yep.
This is not just like one flavor over the top. And there's definitely one thing up front and one thing in the back.
I don't know. I get so much off of this as it evolves. There's like the black pepper and allspice kind of come together more at the end. Up front, I get a little bit more of, I think I get more of that strawberry rhubarb. And then the finish, it's that sort of floral hibiscus. There's like just a touch of rose in here. I'm not usually a floral guy, but I feel like, so Erica, who did these recipes, she's got such a steady hand, I'd say, about this stuff, where the rose just kind of hits at just the right time, doesn't stay too long. I'm in love with this flavor.
I will note here that there is a sweetness to it, but in general, your drinks don't hit people over the head with sugar.
And that's so important to me. I'm just not going to pick up something non-alcoholic if it's way too sweet. There's something about, I think, what alcohol does to our perception of sweetness, where I'll enjoy a daiquiri, but as soon as I'm drinking something non-alcoholic, for whatever sort of chemistry, biochemical reason, I want something a lot drier, a lot more crisp, a lot more like drinking, a dry sparkling wine than it would be like drinking a Faygo.
And what I like is that on that backside, it gives you a little bit that black pepper, allspice. Now, don't think it tastes like dumping pepper on something. It's a note.
Yep.
But it gives you this warmth that kind of reminds me of brown boozes.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot because, and I think this is something that you'll get also in the next one, is that what we were thinking about with this was a lot of rums, a lot of that sort of Gulf Coast and Caribbean approach, not just to drinks, but to cooking in general.
I mean, if you felt like you wanted to booze this up, I feel like rum would be a good pair.
Yes. You know what I think this would go really well with, looking at my cart right now, is Detroit City Distillery's Summer Rum.
All right, let's go to Isla. This is in the blue can. It is a mellow ginger.
Yeah.
So talk to me about what a mellow ginger is.
So this is another one. Erica did the recipe, but I was sort of following along the whole time. We kind of fell in love with this flavor, but as we started sharing it with friends and telling them, this is a ginger drink, they'd say, whoa, I was expecting Reed's ginger beer. I was expecting something intense. I was expecting something to kind of like attack my palate. And that's never what we were going for. And so we wanted to build mellow right into the name. We're calling it the mellow ginger because we want it to be easy. We want you to actually be able to not just taste the ginger, but all of the other ingredients that we're using as a part of it.
When I think ginger and drinking, I often think about the mule and the kick in the face. So I'm interested to see what happens here.
Should we crack them open?
Okay, there's some nose to this for sure.
Yeah, I get a lot more on the nose on this one. There's a green note in here. There's just the tiniest bit of thyme that I just think really comes through nicely.
Okay, I like it. All right. So this is definitely a different thing than your Fora. Like they're two different animals.
Yep.
This makes me think much more along the clear boozes line, if you're going to go for an analogy here. And I think that it is, again, complex. Like if you want to sit with this drink, like this, neither of these, I think, are chuggers. This is, I mean, you can definitely, like, they're easy drinking, but if you sit with them for a while, new presents appear.
Right. The sort of way that, if I'm out and I'm at a spot that's got my drinks I'm not drinking, I can sort of enjoy one over the course of half an hour, 45 minutes, the sort of, I think, standard time it takes most people to finish a beer, and then be ready for the next one, which is really nice. Like it's not something that I feel like I have to crush or chug. It's something that I can enjoy, but still feels sessionable in a way where, I can have two, maybe three. That might be pushing it, but we want them to be just complex enough that it's like, yeah, I'm enjoying this, but it's also not getting in the way of my food. It's not getting in the way of my, conversations. Like it's a drink that you can think about it, you can enjoy it, you can pick apart all the little flavors, or you can just, watch some trash TV with it.
Or this Isla, I also think about when it warms up a little bit out there in the backyard with the dogs on the zero gravity chair.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds nice. And I think that's kind of where I don't know. I got a good feeling about this one. I love ginger drinks. My grandma tried Isla for the first time yesterday. She was like, she didn't call it a banger, but more or less that was her, that was her takeaway.
I want to meet your grandma who labels things bangers. That would be amazing.
I know, right? But I think this one's got a really broad appeal, without really sacrificing any of the, I don't know, sort of the idiosyncrasies, the weirdness that I think was really important to us about the first four, and is still there in these two. But yeah, we wanted something that could feel a bit more like you don't need a whole primer on Amaro or Italian spirits to understand these two. You can kind of just pick them up and say, oh, ginger. Oh, I mean, red drink is a little mysterious, but you turn it around and you're like, oh yeah, strawberry, rhubarb, hibiscus, rose. Like it's all red things.
This is just my opinion, but I look at these as the on-ramps. Listeners may not know this, but in our knick-knack shelves are 4 bottles of your original items, and I really enjoyed them. But these are the on-ramps where it's like you try these and then like, how do I want to expand my palate a little bit? And I think that's really important when it comes to trying new things and pushing envelopes.
I'm really glad that you said that. I mean, it was really important to us that, if we sort of made a name for ourselves doing something a little bit obscure, a little bit out there, we always knew that we would want to grow in a way that would, bring more people in and make sort of picking something non-alcoholic easier for even more people than just sort of our small circle of beverage nerds.
Well, I mean, to be fair, a lot of Daily Detroit, we're beverage nerds.
No, exactly. But now this is the one, like just the way you said it, this is the on-ramp. This is the one that you've got for your friends who aren't beverage nerds yet.
I mean, how has the business been doing through the pandemic?
It's been good. It's been up and down. There have been plenty of times that are scary. We're dealing with, I'd say, the same sort of supply chain issues that everybody else is. But so far so good. We're still here.
So let's talk about where this is available and where can you find this kind of stuff?
These are just now rolling out through Detroit. I think Milwaukee Cafe's got them. I know, what is it? Metropolitan Variety, the new place that opened up where Kraftwerk used to be. I think I saw they got a shipment. Yeah, they're going to be available through our normal Michigan distributor. That's M4CIC. We've also got them online. You can buy a 12 pack, or we're now doing 24 packs.
Oh, wow.
That lets, it's a higher price point, but much lower per can than the 12 packs, just because we're able to get a lot more in there, save a bit on packaging and shipping. So yeah, those are for the real power users.
Well, and see, the nice thing about this is that since they're not alcoholic, you can send them anywhere. So if you're an expat or you're somebody who's following the show, you can just go ahead and go to CasamaraClub.com and hit the button. And this is not an ad. This is just the two of us. We've known each other for a while. I want to highlight these things because things from Detroit are just cool. And there's so many ways that people from our area are like pushing things forward, or people in our area are pushing things forward. I think this is a great way to look at it. And like, this is a stylish thing too. Like these cans, you look at them and you're like, oh, you've got some taste.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, I really appreciate that. Yeah, we ship all over the country for exactly that reason. As much as I think Detroit has been so important to me, and so much a part of, I think, being able to do something fun and maybe push this conversation forward a little bit, we also want to make sure that everybody else has a chance to try this stuff.
Jason, thanks for checking in. And you know what? As things die down with the cases and stuff, let's make sure we crack open one of these in the yard.
Oh, I'd love that. Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
Well, that's it for today's show. A reminder that Monday we are off. It is a federal holiday. We take those off. It is a day of service for Martin Luther King Day. So that's what I encourage you to do. Of course, if you have feedback, dailydetroit@gmail.com, or give us a call, 313-789-3211. Quick thanks to those behind the scenes that make this happen: Cheyenne Nocerini, Randy Walker, Fletcher Sharp, Devin O'Reilly, and of course, you for listening. With that, I'm Jer Stays. Take care of each other. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday.